What's up, everybody? It's Coach Kev. Court storming in college basketball. Should it be banned because it is outdated, or should it continue because of its historic relevance? Here is Stephen A. Smith talking about it. Two players, both on the men's and women's side, had the potential of getting seriously injured in two separate court storming incidents. What do we do? If anything, do we continue this tradition of court storming, or does it need to be stopped now? Stephen A. Smith, what are your thoughts?
About some stuff on the political front. The first order of business is what transpired this weekend. The debate over the dangers of court storming has been reignited this weekend after a player for the University of Duke was injured following their loss to Wake Forest. Demon Deacon fans from Wake Forest stormed the court as the clock struck zero in their victory over the Duke Blue Devils. 7-foot center Kyle Filipowski was hit several times by fans running by. He was ultimately helped off the court after hurting his leg in a collision with a fan. Filipowski had this to say. Look at it right here, quote, "It's just really ridiculous how that situation is handled," Filipowski told WFMY News after the game. "I absolutely feel like it was personal, intentional for sure. Like I said, there's no reason where they see a big guy like me trying to work my way off the court and they can't just work around me, you know? There's no excuse for that."
So the Wake Forest team, they won the game. Their fans stormed the court after the final buzzer. The Duke players trying to walk off the court as the fans are storming the court. And then this player, Kyle, got hurt. I guess got ran into by some of the fans, one of the fans, whatever the case may be. And he's saying that this was intentional. Why couldn't they run around him? This is my first time seeing an injury like this, in a court storming. I don't know if you guys let me know if you've seen or heard anything like that before, but this is my first time hearing this. That's tough. That's tough. Let's continue. That's tough.
Shortly after, he tweeted, "This gotta change." Let me say this. Court storming has been going on for a while. Looking up, reading from my notes, I remember 1961, point guard Larry Brown was playing for the University of North Carolina at Duke Cameron Indoor Stadium. Went in for a driving layup in the last seconds, was bear hugged by a Duke player, ultimately fisticuffs ensued, and fans ultimately got involved. I remember Bill Self, the championship coach for the Kansas Jayhawks, nearly got pummeled when fans stormed the court after he had lost the game. I remember one time when somebody was in a wheelchair and was about to be stampeded and had to be lifted up and helped off the court by a player or two. I remember that happening. This is not new. And a lot of people are making a big deal of it, as they should, because it is dangerous. It is.
So there we go. It's not new. So Stephen A. just said different occasions where coaches, fans, they got hurt, or had the potential of getting seriously hurt. So I guess this has happened before. For the most part, I believe it doesn't happen, but a bunch of kids, rabid fans, young kids, college kids, excited about their team winning, running, storming the court 1,000 miles an hour. Yes, there's potential of something serious happening.
Played out. It's run its course, and change definitely needs to happen. But I think it's important to understand why it needs to happen. It needs to happen because a younger generation, as wild as it could be, still used to act within bounds. Still used to act with a level of decorum and a level of respect that we don't see from the younger generation of folks in this day and age. When we talk about respecting our elders, we don't see that anymore. You got young whippersnappers out here don't give two shits about anybody, about how anybody feels. And it's going to take a collective effort on everybody's part. The institutions, law enforcement, the media, and beyond, to really, really invoke and ultimately implement stiff, stringent ramifications for one's actions and transgressions. That's really what it's going to come down to. I'm not trying to sit up here, act like some old head or whatever the case may be. I'm just talking about people not having any regard for any rules or regulations and repeatedly, I state this over and over and over again. Anytime any kind of change has taken place in any society, it's usually provoked by young people. Why? When we look, I'm in the media business, and I'm on linear television every single day, and we see people talking about direct to consumer and that how that's the future, it's the wave of the future. We see all of these people with these digital platforms trying to get in on the action to make sure somehow, some way they can profit off of it and they can find themselves doing this job. We see all of that happening. But guess why it's happening? Because young people are always about doing what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, with whomever they damn well please, devoid of any kind of ramifications whatsoever.
This generation has definitely changed. I agree with Stephen A. with that. This generation of youth are wild, and there is the respect for the elders and respect for it definitely has diminished as generation and generation and generation has come across. And I agree that the youth definitely control the change and control the narrative of what's the new thing, the new big thing, or the new rule change, or the new design, whatever it is in society. They're definitely in the forefront of that. It's tough. They pretty much he's saying these kids are running on the court and they don't give a damn who they run over, pretty much. And I tend to agree with that.
The beat of their own drum. And the reason why direct to consumer is ultimately popularized and it's really, really taking on a life of its own. Because guess what? You don't have to watch something at 10 o'clock or 12 noon or 3 in the afternoon or 5. You can watch it when the hell you want. You don't have to watch it on a big screen television. You go to Best Buy or someplace else to purchase a television. You can sit up there and watch it on your phone or your iPad or your laptop computer. You can do all of these things. The ability to do what you want, when you want, how you want to do it, in the fashion that you want to do it, devoid of any true ramifications, is something every society has to deal with. Because younger generations on the come up, that's how they like things. But that doesn't mean that the old heads in charge don't need to make sure to put their foot down and to understand and to show and display there's ramifications for everybody's actions. And if college institutions aren't willing to do it, shame on them. But I'll tell you why they're not willing to do it. It's because of money. You ever see some of these security folks, these people getting hired for security? Old, pot-bellied individuals, senior citizens, can barely walk, damn sure can't run. And I'm not engaging in ageism, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, and I'm not trying to be insulting to my elders or whatever. But you...
Steven always got to throw a jab, Mr. Smith. It always comes back when it comes to the NCAA. Always comes back. It's like a circle back to them. They are not willing to pay the money for the security. This is where he's about to get into. He's saying they hire grandmothers and grandfathers to secure these kids when they know damn well they have no ability of deterring these 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24-year-old kids.
For a reason. You can't do the things that you used to do when you were younger. It's that simple. And to have them in a security role, what the hell are they going to do when you got hundreds of kids stampeding out of the stands onto the court? How in God's name are they going to stop them? You need some younger, vibrant, strong, healthy individuals who are security. Who, dare I say, can put you on your ass if they have to. That's what you need. But that costs money. And college football ain't about giving money away. They're about taking and soaking up as much money as they possibly can, which they've proven to us time and time again in terms of how slow they've been to make sure that ultimately NIL was in existence, transfer portals were in existence, student athletes getting compensated for their efforts and the revenue they generated for particular programs. You see how slow on the uptake it was for them to get to this point? Everything comes down to money. Nothing is free. And that's really what this is about. There's no way around it, y'all. There's no way around it. So I'm sorry that Filipowski got hurt. Hopeful and thankful that it doesn't appear to be as serious as one would originally have thought, even though he had to be helped off the court by his coaches and assistant coaches and some of the players. We get that. But in the same breath, you know something else? Here's another solution. Get security, which is younger, stronger, but also have them surround the visiting team. In most instances,
The only issue with that, what Stephen A. Smith is saying, he's saying have security surround the opposing bench, so the away team, so that when the fans storm, the security is around the team and they won't be able to get into the team. But the only issue with that is the player. What about the players that are on the court already? The security is not going to be able to get on the court on time to block unless they just sprint out with the kids to block the players that are on the court from the visiting team, so the fans don't run into them or do whatever with them as well. So I don't think that was going to work, but I understand what he's trying to say and what kind of ideas he's trying to put into the air.
And they're soaking up all that adulation and celebration. It's the visitors, who's the rival, who's the losing team that's usually in danger. Protect them first. And make sure come hell or high water, you have them on the court. You surround them on the court and escort them out. That's what you do. That's the best you can do, y'all. You can talk about outlawing folks, but you're going to keep everybody on the court. Give them all citations. Give them all fines. Think you'll be able to pull that off? Think they ain't going to cause mayhem? You think you got enough law enforcement officials or off-duty police officers or security personnel that's going to be able to police that? I don't think so. I don't think so. Spend the money to upgrade security. And by the way, when you storm the court, you got a license to get knocked on your ass. And you can't sue anybody. That'll go a long way. Trust me. Deterrence come in various forms. As we bring up Chris Rock and Will Smith, you notice Will Smith didn't slap Dwayne Johnson. Notice he didn't slap Mike Tyson. Notice he didn't slap somebody like that. You know why? Because size and brute strength matters. There's a whole bunch of people out there with size and strength on them, looking to get paid. Give them a job of security and give them a license to whip somebody's ass. I promise you, deterrence will kick in. Let's move.
Two sides on both sides of the argument for banning court storming. Once the kids storm the court, you rope them in or somehow block them in on the court, security around, whatever you got to do to keep them on the court, and then you give every one of the kids either a fine, citation, or you expel them from school, suspend them from the school they're at, or whatever the case may be. That's a very harsh punishment, but that's what I heard for people that's saying they want to ban court storming. For the ones that want it to continue, I've heard let the visiting team walk off the court, do the handshake line and do all that stuff. Once it's done, then let the kids storm the court where it's only the home team there left in the venue. I'm not mad at that either. I guess the argument with the first thing is that if I'm a kid and I'm in the middle and they're blocking me off, they're not going to be able to hold 50,000 kids. Whatever, just say 5,000 storm the court. They're not going to be able to hold them all. I'm out. I'm jumping that rope and they ain't going to be able to arrest each and every one of you. So that's going to be tough to do. And for the other side, it kind of takes away from the energy of storming the court to have to wait for the handshake line and wait for the team to walk off and then storm the court. It kind of takes away from it. But those are just two ideas that I heard. My biggest issue with it is that it used to be you storm the court when it's a big rivalry game. So your rivalry teams are playing each other, and then you win against your rivalry team, like a Duke, North Carolina, and then you storm the court, whether it's that type of matchup or you're upsetting the number one seed. So maybe you're playing the number one seed in the country and you're unranked, a no-name school, just out here, whatever. You had no chance of winning and you win the game, then you storm the court. But now it's becoming that they're just storming the court for anything. So I think that needs to be changed. What do you feel about court storming? Should it be banned? Is it time to stop it? Is it not needed for this era of basketball, or should court storming continue? Is it a tradition that needs to live on? The passion, the energy of these schools need to be shown through court storming. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Till next time, this is Coach Cav, and I'm out of here. Peace.